Hello, good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So we're here tonight for an episode of What's New. And the album I've chosen for this episode is called Reliance, and it comes from a band called Soen. I think that's how you pronounce it, Soen. Anyways, this is a Swedish band, Swedish prog metal band. So I'm not generally a person, as many will know who watch this channel regularly. I don't generally care much for prog metal. But I didn't mind this album. It was pretty good. So I've been trying to force myself to listen to a little bit more prog metal because there's a lot of it out there. And some of the better metal bands are prog metal bands. So I've been trying to get myself to kind of give it a bit more of a chance. Maybe it'll grow on me like a lot of bands do, Anyways, this album by Soen Reliance is the name of it, released January the 16th, 2026. It's about 43 minutes in length, so it's within that wheelhouse that I prefer to listen to my music, anywhere between 35 and 45 I'm comfortable with. It's on the Silver Lining music label, and the band include Joel Ekalov on vocals, Martin Lopez on drums, Lars Enoch Auckland on keys and guitars, Cody Lee Ford on guitars, and Stefan Stenberg on bass. 10 tracks in total. Pretty strong. I didn't give, if I'm honest, I gave one song a 5.5. The rest of them were over that. So pretty strong, I thought, for a metal, especially a progressive metal band album. There are parts in this that are quite interesting. They do use piano on occasion. It's a sprinkling of it throughout this album. The vocals are basically two types here. So you've got this kind of a little bit harsher, more mainstream sound, maybe a little bit on the high part, almost like a scream, but without the harshness of the scream. And then you've got some more whispery, low-end whispery stuff that goes on throughout the album too. The guitars are either very heavy, driving, beefy guitar riffs, or melodic, slow, heavy parts. Solos, longer, but not super long, but melodic. Not too many screeching guitar solos like you might find on a pure heavy metal album. So anyways, we'll go over the tracks as I see them. So the first track out of the box is Primal. This one's about 4.5 minutes long. Nice crushing guitar riff to open up. It gets quiet, almost marshmallow vocals part. Then a much heavier guitar and vocal part, followed by a nice catchy, beefy, up-tempo riff. I think this vocals are clear, catchy, strong, frontal. Yeah, a good opening song for an album. I think it suits the albums very well. Next is called Mercenary, another bit of a slow melodic guitar riff. Then a very beefy guitar with a machine gun type drum part in there as well. Vocals are emotional, forward, heavy with a tinge of high end sound. And then you got the guitar part, which is a bit on the melodic side, very beefy, lots of heaviness to it, I guess is a good way to put it. It's got a nice slow, melodic, heavy, distorted, and raunchy part to it. Yeah, it's a pretty decent song. Next up is Discordia. Slow, low melodic sound. The vocals are a little bit on the whispery side here, like a little bit lower like that. Some key parts in here that are more noticeable than the first two tracks. It does jump up, very low, beefy guitar part here. The vocals They feel forced and heavy at point here, like he's really forcing out a heavy sound, like he wants to get it out there. And it does crescendo several times throughout the song, so you get a little bit of that high end, a little bit of that low end. Next song up is Axis. This is maybe one of the 2 or 3 best songs on the album. Nice, heavy, complex guitar riffing here. Another machine gun sound like drum part. Then it gets a little bit low and almost acoustic-like. And then there's this kind of poppy feel to it, which is kind of unusual for this type of music. Jumps up again to the heavy part. The guitar solo is solid with a kind of nice, slow, low, catchy part. Yeah, I think this is a pretty strong front-loaded kind of solo. Next up is called Huntress. This one's about almost 4 3/4 minutes, probably the longest track at this point on the album. Very heavy, very melodic, nice catchy part, symphonic, melodic track, much more symphonic here than some of the previous tracks. The vocals again, raspy, high end, but strong. Then we got Unbound. It opens with a kind of melodic, doomy sound, like you're going to get a doom metal song, and then the vocals are clear, but raspy, high end, very forward. The slow melodic guitar part, picking part, follows that, and then you got a nice slow atmospheric part and whispery vocals again. Yeah, the solo is a little bit low-end melodic and goes off on a kind of metal-like guitar sound where it's doing a little bit of that almost tapping sound to it. So the back 4 tracks, Indifferent is next. Probably, to me, is probably the weakest track on the album. This one also comes with a video of a lady dancing, like a ballet type dancing. But it's a little bit on the heavy side for ballet. It does have a nice piano part in it. It's a little bit whispery on the vocals. It's kind of a very low-end song, not probably the slowest, least metal-like song on the album. And I gave it only a 5.5 because it seemed to lack heaviness to me. Next song up is Drifter, slow keyboard part, then a beefy, heavy guitar part, broken up by melodic, low-end vocal parts and forward vocal parts, yeah. Then it jumps back up again, goes down again, very heavy guitar parts with keys to end out the song. The next track is called Draconian. Nice piano, low end vocals. It's almost a sad sounding song, I think. It doesn't feel like a metal song at all. It feels like there's going to be a little bit of an emotional, almost like it's going to be a ballad. But then, of course, it jumps up again to that heavy riffing and beefy forward drum part. The vocals are loud, distorted, emotional. And then it does crescendo several times, and which is common for these guys. They tend to like to have those low kind of melodic, almost ballad-like parts to their heavy crescendoing, beefy parts. And the final song is called Velocore. This one has a lot of melodic, atmospheric kind of synthesizers going on here. The voice is very hollow-like. It sounds like it's almost like it's in the vacuum almost. And then you have some low, whispery vocal parts too, which are clear and very soft sounding. The keyboard parts become very melodic, symphonic, and very strong atmosphere. The solo is melodic, loud, dominant, and just pretty loud, pretty dominant track. for the solo part. Anyways, it's multiple distorted synthesizers throughout this song as well that mix in with the vocals to give it that kind of atmosphere. Yeah, I think this is probably the most symphonic track on the album. It's decent though for a symphonic track. I don't mind it. It's pretty good. So for me, probably the best track on the album, if I'm being honest about it, is probably Axis. This one, I found this one with the heavy, complex guitar parts really good. So that's it for tonight. I hope you like and subscribe to this. This would be great. If you want to make any comments about Soen or Reliance, that would also be good. Anything you want to ask, or if anything you want to comment on, you can do that. I hope to see you all again next week for another episode of What's New. And have yourself a good evening, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.